and welcome to a brand new edition of Inside Out on the Road, a show where we focus on individual stocks. With in-depth analysis, we deep dive into financials and also tell you about the key risks and triggers going forward. But let's not waste any time and get straight to the first stock of the day. My colleague Sonal gets us his very special deep dive on Route Mobile.
Route Mobile is a CPaaS player or communications platform as a service. It is an SMS aggregator which functions as an intermediary between a company and the mobile network operator. It provides input interfaces to its customers to send messages, collects those messages and sends them to operators for delivery. Well, the sources of revenue are messaging services, call center services and a whole host of software as a service as well. A major corporate event also took place last year when Proximus Group acquired 57.56% stake in Route Mobile. This was via 5,900 crores of cash at 1,626.4 rupees per share. From 1,400 crore revenues in FY19, it has risen to 3,600 crore in FY23 and 9 months it's tracking 3,006 crores. Margins have been around 12.5%, barring FY22 when it was at 10.5%. Profit also has increased from 130 crores to 333 crores in FY23 and in 9 months it is at 279 crores. Growth triggers going forward are growing digitization trends and value accretive acquisitions. Risks would be more competition, client concentration and if at all there's a failure to maintain or enter long-term contracts, which the management says is not a cause of worry. But to break down the business for you and to demystify some of these words as well, we'll go and speak to the management and understand more about Route Mobile. As promised, it's time to understand everything about Route Mobile's business. I have with me Rajdipkumar Gupta, who is the Managing Director and Group CEO at the company. Mr. Gupta, such a pleasure to have you with us on the show and thank you for joining us today. And as I was pointing out earlier, it's a show where we want to understand everything about the business. What does the company do? And that's exactly the first question. What is Route Mobile all about?
Thank you, Sonal. Thank you for having me on your show. It's my pleasure to be part of this show. In a very nutshell, if we explain in a very layman language, right, what Route Mobile does. So we touch base everyone's life at least twice or thrice a single day. And people may ask how, like you withdraw cash from ATM card, you get OTP saying that you have withdrawn 10,000 rupees from your bank account. That is the first interaction touch point we create for a user. The moment you book a movie ticket, you get a QR code on your WhatsApp. That's another touch point. These kind of data gets generated from our platform and delivered to the end user mobile phone. So any communication channel, whether it's email, SMS, voice or WhatsApp or RCS, these kind of interfaces are provided by Route Mobile to the enterprises, and these enterprises, they inbuild our APIs to their main core system and enable their end user to communicate better with our platform.
You know, OTP is one single word that everyone talks about on a daily basis. So tell me more about your clients. Who are the clients that you cater to? Which is the biggest pie when it comes to your client portfolio?
So we have almost 3,000 plus active billable customer as of today. And some of the, if you want to name some of them, starting from Google, Facebook, Amazon, I think top 20 tech giants, out of that we serve almost 15 of them, you know, like globally. So Route Mobile is not just a one market company. We are a global enterprise company. We operating from 22 countries as of now, serving almost 3,000 customers globally. So our potential is not if a single customer using our platform, they are not using only for one country. We enable the same customer for multiple countries. And I think that one of the USP what Route Mobile has is like providing a connectivity to enterprises, not for one country, but for multiple countries. A classic example is a Google, right? Google uses our platform for not for one country, more than 100 countries. So as a connectivity stack which we have built, we are connected with over 1,000 operators globally, and which enables the enterprise to choose which destination they want to use from Route Mobile. Based on the quality and pricing, most of these OTT players, they use our platform. So as I've said, like, and most of the BFSI customers across the globe, they use our platform. The largest airlines company in the world is Emirates. They use Route Mobile as of today. I think there are n number of customers we have right now who are users our platform and communicating with their end users.
Are these contracts long-term contracts? How long do they get revised?
So all our contracts are long-term contracts right now, and I think what we have a master level agreement with all this customer, and all the agreements are auto renewable every year based on the quality and plus the performance along with the pricing. That matters the most in the entire ecosystem. But pricing is the secondary. The quality of your service is very important, and we have customer since last 10 years, 12 years. We are serving all the OTT players for almost from now 7 years till today, and none of the customer has been lost till today. In fact, we are getting more opportunity from the existing customers like large OTT players, and they believe in our platform. They love to work with Root Mobile because the kind of option we have for them. There are very few companies in the world who has this kind of large opportunity or stack which can support them. So I think it's very, very. You can talk about Root Mobile as a one single company coming out of Asia, supporting the global giants for their global termination, and I think that's one thing which we as a Root Mobile very proud of.
Okay, very interesting. So in that case, if you can explain to us the CPaaS market, it's growing. Which is a bigger pie of that market? Is it the new age business or is it the SMS business? And how does Root Mobile differ to the overall market?
So if we talk about the entire CPaaS market, like CPaaS is always more on SMS heavy. So messaging is always the most bigger pie as compared to all the other omni-channel. The reason behind that, if you see the omni-channel adoption is started post-COVID or during the COVID time. And most of the company, they realize that omni-channel is the right way to interact with their end user or maybe the faster outcome. So we have seen a huge adoption ratio starting from, I think, 2020 onwards. And that's why if you see right now also, we are very early stage of adoption for omni-channel stack. As far as the SMS is like well-known medium for a better communication. So in next 2 to 3 years down the line, the way the smartphone penetration is happening in not only in emerging market, but the global market as well. So more smartphone penetration means that the opportunity for a omni-channel stack like RCS, WhatsApp or email kind of services will be used higher or more. And that's why I think in next 3 to 4 years, we will have a balance between messaging and omni-channel, which we believe still the SMS is going to be the king. Even people talk about the SMS is going to die. I think that's a much discussion happening from very long time. But we are serving our customer for last 20 years, and every single quarter we see growth in our SMS volume. Just to give a simple idea why SMS is so critical in our entire ecosystem. A classic example is Google Pay. Now, if you see in India, even people are paying 10 rupees using the GPay. The moment you pay 10 rupees using GPay, you will get one SMS alert, right? So that is a kind of opportunity people, we believe that is going to be there in the next 2 to 3 years down the line. When adoption of this kind of app going to increase, indirect benefit will be the company like Root Mobile. So SMS is definitely going to be the king for next 5 to 10 years. But along with that, different use cases will be arrived for omni-channel, which is like RCS or WhatsApp or email. So that's how I believe in next 5 to 6 years, the journey is very brilliant, and omni-channel stack. If you say comparison between messaging and omni-channel, right now it's 70-30, which we believe in next 3 to 4 years down the line is going to 50-50.
Oh, very interesting, 50-50. Would the margins change in that case? Would OTT be or omni-channel be higher margin business?
Yeah, indeed, because I think if you talk about email margin, it's about 70%, right? If you talk about margin in RCS or WhatsApp, it's over 30-35%. So I think SMS is still between 20-25% range. Keeping that in mind, we believe if you combine the entire offering together, your overall margin will be increased in next 3 to 4 years down the line.
Would you have any idea on how much would you increase that by?
So I think we're very optimistic about our thought process that anything between 30-35% as an overall combined offering of Root Mobile, which talks about omni-channel and messaging combined. This is exactly what we believe. So anywhere between 30-35% is what we want to.
This is the EBITDA margin you're talking about?
I'm
No,
talking
right?
about
Gross margin. Yeah.
Our EBITDA margin target is very well defined. I know. I just want to make sure this is not EBITDA margin. We are very clear on our EBITDA margin target, which is between 12 and 15% is what we are working right now. With all this kind of addition, which we are right now working on the product side, will help us to increase our EBIT margin. in coming year down the line.
Okay, and that is something that the investors would like for sure, the $1 billion revenue target as well that you've put in place. You know, I wanted to understand what is the difference between international long distance and national long distance when it comes to A2P messages, which is a bigger margin product or a higher revenue product for you?
So if you talk about the ILDO business, it's like anything, any message which originate from international servers and get terminated to Indian consumer, Indian users, that is called as a ILDO business, right? So Amazon, all servers are outside India. All the messages are originating from international server and terminating to Indian user. That is ILD business. NLD is more like your domestic transaction, like bank OTP or credit card alert is all domestic NLD business. So if you talk about the difference between NLD and ILD, see if NLD is 10 paisa, now ILDO is almost 4.5 rupees or 4 rupees. So that is a vast difference we have seen in these two pricing. An operator also has a huge amount of revenue opportunity coming from ILD business. And as per the TRI guideline, any messages which is originating from outside has to come through ILDO. So it is a very stringent policy defined by TRI to make sure these data or this kind of companies, whether it's Google or Amazon or Facebook, if they're originating those messages from outside India, they have to follow the norms of ILDO. So NLD is definitely large in terms of volume, but lower in pricing. ILD provides huge amount of opportunity for operators and company like us to generate that high revenue and high margin gain.
Okay, that comes at a high pricing, so definitely.
High pricing, yes.
Who would your peers be in India or globally?
I think it's a very good question. I've been asked this question multiple times last so many years and during my IPO also. I really don't want to name few of them, but definitely there are many companies based out of India. We are not, first of all, we are not a local Indian company.
Correct.
We are a global CPaaS player. When I say global CPaaS player, we are very clear in terms of our vision, what we have built, connected with over 1,000 operators in last 20 years, which means that any customer coming to our platform has the opportunity to terminate messages globally. There are hardly any company in India who has this kind of scale or who has this kind of a connectivity and partnership with operators. And that's why we always believe that there is no competition in India for Route Mobile. And if you really want to compare our peers, we do have someone like Twilio, Sinch, Infobip or MessageBird outside India. Yeah, if in a domestic market, yes, there are few companies, we compete with them. Not few, like many, but there are some large companies we compete with them. But we compete with them only on a domestic business. So if there is anything which is international, it always comparison between international companies and Route Mobile.
Okay, very interesting. But I do have a lot more questions, but you have to change the floors. I need to see the remainder of your office as well. So let's go.
Sure, come.
Okay, you told me use cases which are there presently. What are some of the opportunities that you're tapping which you think would be a big opportunity for the company?
So I think the basic nowadays, if you remember, there is one big news we have flashed some time back about metro station. Like we enabled Pune Metro on RCS and we have enabled Delhi Metro on WhatsApp. So I think prior to that, there are many challenges the metros were facing about the ticket booking. Like people used to stand for the long queue, people used to wait. Now with this kind of simple solution, what we did, like we just put a QR code at all the stations. People just need to go and scan the QR code and their entire ticketing journey will be completed, including the payment through the WhatsApp bot itself. So there's no need to stand for the queue. There's no need to wait for the queue and just scan, take a card. Again, you got a QR code, scan it, enter to the train. I think that is the kind of solution where the market is looking at right now. Like how simple I can create a solution, how easy we can create for the end user. And I think the classic example we had for this Gujarat board result, and we end up creating a solution which is one of the largest, in the world. And we got that confirmation from Meta coming that this has never happened in past. Like so many people got the result over seconds through WhatsApp. I think what omni-channel is going to create value for end users, like easy to use and faster to deliver.
So that means this growth is sustainable, because a lot of things that people were saying about COVID period was a spurt, might not continue, but that's not the case here.
So if you take that in a very simple way, India as an emerging market has only 50% adoption of smartphone. There are many people, they do have a smartphone, but they don't know how to use it. Let's take a classic example of Amazon. So Amazon is very popular in tier 1 and tier 2 city. But tier 3, tier 4 cities, people are still not very used to. But in next few years down the line, if Amazon builds up the entire plan to deliver these goods in all the cities of India, which means that the people living in those part of the world, cities, they have to use smartphone to book an order, right? So I think that is the kind of potential we see from entire digital adoption as of today.
Okay, so when you spoke about so many opportunities, so the next leg of growth, will it come from just those opportunities, maybe better realizations, or are you looking for inorganic growth opportunities as well?
So as a company DNA, like we always believe that there is organic and inorganic approach of ours. In last few years, if you see, like we acquired company in Latin America, we acquired company in Europe, but at the same time, we also acquired company in product, right? Like email is one classic example. 365 Squared is a firewall company. So what we try to build is like, if there is a market reach requirement for Latin America, we acquired a company over there. But product is also a very critical aspect, right? We really need to build a product stack which has a huge potential, which has a huge market opportunity also. So what we did in last so many years is like we followed organic and inorganic. If you talk about our RCS or omni-channel stack, we built everything in-house. Okay, and we believe that we don't want to buy any company for that. We just got the right team in place, and at the right point of time, we built the entire solution, and we have seen a huge amount of growth coming from our omni-channel stack right now. In future, I'm still going to believe the same thing. I will do organic and inorganic as well. If there's a very good company coming at very good price and trying to solve one of my missing piece, which is not there in my product stack, I might acquire them. But most of the things I will try to build in-house, because we got a larger team now combined. Again, I'm still open for both.
Let's talk about your earlier guidance, where you had indicated that you will distribute 40% of your free cash flow to shareholders. Does that continue? What is the kind of cash in your books? And will you achieve your revenue guidance before what you had indicated?
So we are still stick in terms of our dividend payment. If you see from last, since the time we got listed, I think we stick to our common guidance to the market, and we have written to all our investor in terms of our dividends. So we are very clear about that. We will stick to the numbers which we have given to that. In terms of our revenue guidance, like we had just revised our number from 20 to 25% to say 15 to 17%, because of certain headwinds we have seen in the month of November and December last particular quarter, and that's why we believe that this could be a problem for us, because the last quarter, I think the Q3 for us is always the best quarter, right? But if we got little impact on Q3, that is going to create some kind of a gap for our Q4. But right now at our level, we see that Q4 is also much better than Q3. So whatever guidance we have given for Q4, which is 15 to 17%, we will definitely try to achieve that, and we are on track to achieve the numbers.
Okay, all right. Mr. Gupta, it was such a pleasure speaking with you. It was a masterclass on what's happening in the CPaaS industry and with Route Mobile. And good luck with your future plans as well, and hope to be speaking to you very soon. But thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Sonal. Thank you.
Okay, all right. With that, we'll take your leave on this conversation, but back to you in the studios.
All right, that was a deep dive into Route Mobile. But let's slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll get you another interesting stock. Alicon Castalloy, that's the stock on our Spotlight segment. You don't go anywhere.